Now, you know me, I talk about making better decisions to a better life. And today is super special because I'm going to talk about how I make my money decisions. And so there are 5 simple steps that I use to make money decisions that help me make better decisions to a better life. Stay tuned for this one. I'm Adrian from Adrian's Avenue, and as always, we're going to talk about some things that will help you make better decisions to a better life. Let's jump right into this one. First step, you have to have it very clear, crystal clear in your head exactly what your financial goals are. And once you get those financial goals, I would suggest make a 1-year goal, a 3-year goal, a 5-year goal, and a 7-year goal. And once these goals are made, you need to write them down, because you won't be committed to them unless you write them down. Once you write them down, then you can hold yourself accountable for the stuff that you've written on that piece of paper. So by writing them down, you'll know exactly what you want to do, you'll know exactly how you want to do it, and you'll know exactly when you actually want to complete it. Now, this shouldn't take more than about 60 minutes or so. There are 1,440 minutes in a day. If you can just take 60 of those today or either tomorrow to write down these goals for you, and they will help you maintain accountability throughout the year. So let's say you write down the goals for the year, and you can start with today and 1 year from today and then see where you are with that goal. You write down the goal, and then you also think about how you're going to get to that goal. Let's say if you want to have $1,200 to spend by Christmas time. If you start in January, you will know you will need to set aside $100 each and every month in order to have that $1,200 at the beginning of December so you can have Christmas money. And so the goals are simple. They're sometimes not, the goals are easy and they're simple actually, but you have to be specific in what you want, when you want it, and then how you're going to get to that point. Let's say for a 3-year goal, if you want to do something like go on a trip, go to Hawaii in 3 years, you'll know what you need to set aside each year, each month in order to make that achievable. Let's say, because my goal in 7 years, I want to have my house payment not necessarily totally paid off. I would love to do that, but I want it down to a certain amount. So what I'm doing right now is go ahead and putting that extra towards principal. So when I get to year 7, it should hit exactly where I want it to. And it's a lot more simple than you think, because there are calculators online that you can use to manipulate the money however you want it to come out in whatever year you want it to come out. If it's 1 year, 3 year, 5 years, or 7 years. There may be some investment goals that you have in mind that by year 5 you want to accomplish. Maybe buying a certain share of stock, 1 share of stock every month. And when you get to 5 years, you'll have a certain number of stock. So these are things, and maybe you may be working on a job. Maybe in 7 years, you want to retire. What do you need to do to put in your 401k or set aside extra so that when that time comes, you can hit that goal, and finances won't be the reason why you can't walk off of that job and retire and enjoy the rest of your life. So there are various goals that you have in mind that you can have in mind to get there, and it's a mathematical formula after that. But once you write them down, you're committed to them, they're written. This is something that you need to be committed to and move in that direction. Most of us like to say, oh, I have it up here in my head, and that's fine for it to be in your head, but when you put it on a piece of paper, then you have to look at it every day. While you may change your mind, because you know we change our minds when things get too hard, we change our minds. But when it's written down on a piece of paper, it makes a difference. And that's something that you stated that you were going to do. You should be committed to it, because no one is more committed to your financial goals. No one is more committed to your financial future, your financial economy currently than you should be. The bankers don't care. No one cares like you should care about it. So until you write these down, until you get them in writing and have something in mind to work forward to, it's hard to save when you don't know what you're saving for. It's hard to get out of debt when you don't know what you're getting out of debt for. It's no fun getting out of debt. That doesn't excite a lot of people, getting out of debt, because people that are sleeping on the streets, Homeless people, they don't have debt, but they're not excited necessarily about life. So once you get out of debt, the excitement comes with what you can do with that money that you have, because you don't have to pay someone else every month with it. Remember, once you get these goals in writing, this is step number 1 toward your financial future and making better decisions with your money. Step number 2, have money limits, daily money limits, weekly money limits, or monthly money limits. I know what my money limits are every week, every day, and every month. Specifically for my credit cards, there's a certain number that I don't go over. Let's say if the number is $1,200, I know, and I look at my statements enough to know once I'm getting close to $1,200, that means I need to put that credit card away, because I know I can pay my bill with $1,200. But before I get to $1,200, or after I go over $1,200, it may be a little tougher for me. During the week, what I eat out on, I will go ahead and put that money. If it's $20 a day, I'll put $20 in my wallet for the day. Once that's spent, that's done. If it's not spent that day and I choose to make lunch at home, make dinner at home, it can carry over to the next day, and I may have $40 to spend on Tuesday for that week. But I know day by day, because I keep track of it in cash. These are things I keep track of in cash. As far as the daily and the weekly. The monthly is mainly for my credit card spending. But each day I know what amount that I'm limited to spending each day. During the week, if it's something I need to buy, such as vitamins or something like that, I will have a weekly limit on what I can spend. And when I say a weekly limit, maybe it's $100 on something. Maybe it's, if I want to go out and get some gym clothes or something like that, I'll say, look, I'm not going to spend more than $100. So I'll go somewhere and I'll actually take cash for some of this. I may charge some of it on my credit card, but if I charge it on my credit card, I will go and deposit that $100 into my checkings account, because that's where I pay my credit card from. So either way I go, I make the decision how I spend my money and what I put it on, but the limits are there. I put the brakes on when it comes to stuff like that. And so every month, if there's something I need to do, such as I said, as my credit card is, as I'm putting things on my credit card. Now for me, because I charge on my credit card personal items, and sometimes since I'm a realtor, if there's something I need to buy, stamps or something like that, I'll go ahead and put that on my credit card too, in order to get the points for the credit card. I know that that category from the post office belongs to my real estate account, and I will pay it from my real estate account instead of paying it from my personal checkings account. So these are things that may not be as complicated for you, but the point here is to make sure you have a daily limit. Even if you like to go to Starbucks, let's say, because I'm not asking you to cut anything out necessarily, but if you like to go to Starbucks and you know that you spend $6 a day on a cup of coffee, and if that's going to be, if you're spending $20 a day for the week as far as Monday through Friday, that would be $100, 5 days, $100. So once you spend that $6 on your coffee, whatever you get for the rest of the day can't be over $14, because you will have used up that amount for the day. So once you start having these limits, the decision is easy. Once the $20 is gone, I can't buy anything else to eat. Not out. I have to come home and see what I have in my cabinet, see what I can make up to eat for the rest of the day. But it's done. The decision is very easy once you have this. So that's my second step that I use, keeping an eye on my limits daily, weekly, and monthly, that will help me make better money decisions. Okay, here we go. Number 3. This I really like doing. Most people don't like to do. They like to shy away from doing it. But I love to look at my bank accounts. I like to look at my statements. And I can do that very simply with an app called Mint. I can look at it on my phone. I'll know exactly what my credit card balance is, what I've been spending the credit card on. It'll list it line by line, what I bought, whether it's gas, groceries, whatever it is, go to the post office and buy stamps. That's all listed there. So I know at a glance at all times, because I always keep my phone with me. And so it's on there, but I'll look at it. Also, you can check out to make sure the bank is doing what they need to do. Once you look at your statements, don't just look at them once a month. I look at them pretty frequently. I look at my accounts really on a daily basis because I like to. Some folks don't like to because they don't want to see what the amount is. But when you start accumulating and getting that amount up, even with my investment accounts, it's on my Mint app. I can see if I made money that day, if I lost money that day, what the balances are for the investment accounts that I have. So it's all there at just a moment's notice. I can just open it up, scroll down, see what I need to do, close it. It's no big deal. But I would advise everyone to make sure you're holding your bank accountable for them doing what they're supposed to do, your credit card company accountable, because if someone were to get your card, and I've had mine stolen a couple of times, well, used a couple of times, and they give me an alert, and then I can go on and look to see what's been going on. If the activity looks suspicious, I can jump on it right away. I don't have to wait for a statement to come in. I can get on it before the credit card company gets on it. So look at these account balances as frequently as at least once a week. I personally look at it daily because I want to check it. When I get up in the morning after I have my devotional time and get that done, I'll go in and start pulling up my financial accounts. It does not take long. I'll do it on my computer. But if I'm during the day, if I want to just check it out or take a look, or if I didn't get to do it that morning, I can pull out my phone and check it out and look at it. So look at your money, because out of sight sometimes means out of mind, and you need to be reminded what you have going on a daily basis. So just take a look at that. Since I am giving you all my hot tips, this is the way I do my thing. I want you to hit that like button and that subscribe button so that you can stay up to date on the latest information as it becomes available to you. And share this out with your friends. These are the tips that's worked for me. I know they work because they've worked for me. So far, I don't think I've mentioned the B word too much in this video yet, but here it comes: budget. And what I want to say about this, you should have one by now. We've talked about it, so I'm not going to ramp on the budget. What I do want to tell you about is to take a look at that budget. Once you have one, you and your budget need to have a date every month. You need to look at it to see the areas that you may need to adjust. Your budget shouldn't be the same for every month, because your utilities are not the same. Some of the bills that you're getting are not the same every month. So you need to make some adjustments, and make those adjustments each and every month when things change. This is your budget. And once you start having a budget, you can go back from year to year to see in the summertime, oh, my electricity went up because of the air. In the wintertime, my gas went up because of the heat. And so you'll know, and you will never be caught off of surprise how things may fluctuate. Now, the price of gas and electricity may change a bit, but you can see that over the years also. But this budget should be looked at every month. Don't make the mistake of waiting a couple of months and, oh, I'll check into it. Don't do that. Look at it every month and make the adjustments as you see fit. This will help you make better money decisions. Hopefully the B word wasn't that bad this time around. But the last step, number 5, that I want to discuss with you is to be disciplined and to be patient. You didn't get into the situation overnight, and it's going to take you a little longer to get out of the situation, whatever your financial situation is. So be patient. Things will take a little time to turn around, but once you start making these better decisions, you will start seeing a better life. Whatever decisions you made in the past got you to where you are right now, guaranteed. So whatever you change and start making in the future, it'll start getting better for you if you make the right changes. So be patient and be disciplined. Stick to it. Just hang in there and stick to it. Sometimes we give up too soon, myself included. If things don't go real quickly for me, sometimes I'm like, well, this isn't working. Let me try something else. But it may be, Adrian, you did not give it long enough. You did not give it a fair chance to work. So let's give this a fair chance to actually work, because what you've been doing in the past obviously has not worked. So let's give this a fair chance to work. I can tell you it works because it has worked for me. I get mine in a set, a frame, and this is the way I run as far as with money. And people are seeing the results and they're asking me, Adrian, how do you do this? How do you do that? And it starts with your mindset. And once you get your mind in order and follow the actions that you need to stay on the path, that you know you want to be on, that you know you want to finish with, and not let people pull you off of that path with the things that they think that you should do or the way that they want you to go. One thing too, once you start making these money changes, you all, your friends they will notice, but they're not changing what they're doing just because you're changing what you're doing. So your girlfriends will still say, hey, let's go out every Friday, or let's go to happy hour. And if your money is spent for that week, you may have to pull back, and let them know what's going on. Don't let them think that, oh, she doesn't want to go out with us anymore, or cause anything between you all. Just let them know, I'm trying to do better with my money. I'm making better money decisions because I have goals in mind. And you can go into as much detail as you want to, but let them know so that they know that it's nothing personal. This is about your financial future. This is about your financial household and the things that you feel like you need to do with your money. And I guarantee you, once you start doing these things, you'll be in a better place, and your friends will see it. And down the road, because we don't know what's going to happen to the economy, you will be in a better place to handle whatever happens to the economy. Your friends, we don't know. They may need to make changes too, but you put yourself in the right order. So be disciplined behind the things we've discussed, and also be patient. Now, as a bonus, I'm going to share with you the questions that I personally ask myself before I make purchases. Sometimes it's a minor purchase, sometimes it may be a major purchase, but I ask myself these questions, especially if I'm not sure if this is something that I really want to buy. The first question that I ask myself is, does this purchase line up with my financial goals? This is very important to make sure I'm staying in line with where I need to be for my financial goals. So if this purchase, such as if it's going to be a car or a watch, and I'll give you some examples a little later, does it line up with where I really want to go in the future? This is a very, very important question that I need to ask myself. The next thing I ask myself is, do I have the cash to go ahead and make this purchase outright? Or if I don't have the cash, do I know how I will get the money to pay for this purchase? This is one that we often miss because we want to just charge it and don't worry about how we're going to pay for it. Let's just charge it. But each charge that you make, you're responsible for paying for it. And each of these little bitty charges, just pay $15 here, $15 there, $15, that's $45 that you've racked up each month that you're going to have to pay out. So make sure you have a plan on either paying for it cash or how you're going to get this paid off. My next question is, how long will it take me to actually save for this purchase? And when it comes to cars, because personally, I like to pay for my cars cash. And so if it's going to take me 3-4 years to save for a vehicle, I'll do that. Now, being a realtor, of course, I can have money coming in, extra money coming in, and I can put, a pretty large chunk of money over into my car fund. But I do have a fund where it's for vehicles, and that's where I keep the money. So when it's time for me to buy a car, I don't have to worry about financing and all this other stuff. If I'm going to qualify for the loan or anything like that, I already have the money saved up, and I can go out and purchase the car. And it's a great feeling, you guys, to go and purchase a car knowing that it's yours. You don't owe Bank of America or Bank of whoever for anything. When you walk out of the car dealership with keys in hand, the car is yours. You just have to pay insurance, maintenance on it, but the car is yours. The next question I ask myself is, how will I benefit from this purchase? And this is something, it could be an emotional benefit, it could be physical or financially. And if it's just emotional, if I'm sad and I feel like, wow, I want to go purchase something to make myself feel better, that's an emotional purchase. I pretty much stay away from those if I can. If I need to think I really need to make that purchase, I may wait a day or two to see if I still feel like that, because each day my emotions change and I may not even want it after then. If it's something physical that I need, I may go ahead and make the purchase. If it's something financial, such as a stock that has gone down in value and the price is good and now's a great time to buy, I may go ahead and make that purchase. But this is something that I just run through my mind and ask myself the question, how am I going to benefit from this purchase? And that's a great question to ask. This next question is, do I really want this? Do I really need this? Sometimes it's not that I really want it. It's because somebody else has it and I like what they have, or they may say, Adrian, you need to go ahead and get this. And it's not that something that I want, it's something that they want for me, but I'm going to pay for it. So I sometimes wait a day or two to see if I still want that, if I want something better, if there's something else that I want out there. And I do a lot of research. I'll tell you this. I wanted a watch. It was a nice looking watch. I saw one. I wanted it. When I retired, I thought I deserved it, and I could have bought the watch. I had the cash to buy the watch. But the more I thought about it, it's like I really don't wear watches that much. I'll wear them to church and to special events and stuff, but I don't really wear it that much where spending that much money on a watch would really make sense. So I did go out. I bought a watch, but I bought a different kind of watch. I bought a watch that's a fitness watch that tells me my blood pressure, tells me my heart rate, it tells me all of that. And I wear this every day, and it has benefited me tremendously. And I bought it for around 50 or 60 bucks. This other watch was way more than that. It was something that was really up there. It was going to be a present to myself and all that. But this watch is a great watch. I wear it, like I said, every single day. The other watch, I would not have worn it every day. I can tell you that, because it was very expensive, very nice looking watch. And I still may get it sometime in the future. Right now, I don't need it, and I really don't want it right now. I have what I need for my lifestyle right now, and it was a great purchase. But I thought about it, and I asked myself those questions before I spent the money on something that I really didn't need and really didn't want at the time. And the last question that I asked myself is, can I afford it? Now, you may say, you put it on the credit card and they'll tell you, oh, it's only $50 a month or $45 a month. Or let's say if you buy a vehicle, they'll tell you we can get your payments down to $400, $450, $500, $600, $700 a month. And you say, oh, I can afford that each month. But are you considering really the maintenance on the vehicle? Paying out when you take it in for an oil change or whatever you have to have done, the tires, the battery. It's not going to last a long time. You're going to have to get some of this stuff done. The brakes on the vehicle, take all of that in consideration. The insurance on the vehicle, the gas, if you have to buy gas to put in the vehicle, what kind of gas you have to buy. If it's premium gas, you have to put in there. And we know how gas prices fluctuate these days. So these are things to consider before you make that final purchase. If you can afford it, just because you can maybe afford the payment may not mean you can actually afford the product. Again, with a house, me as a realtor will take you out and show you houses. The lender will tell you how much, the lender will actually tell you the maximum amount that you can afford. I go ahead and educate my buyers to, this is the maximum amount, but just keep in mind your lifestyle as it is right now. If you're not already paying this amount at an apartment, may change a little. As a matter of fact, it will change a little if you get this house payment, because it's going to be different. So once you get a house, the things that you used to call a landlord for, you're going to be repairing yourself. It may be an expense. The yard maintenance, the water that you're spending, the gas, electricity, all of that is going to be more than what you're paying in an apartment, because you're going to have a larger space to do it. There may be some homeowner fees that you have to pay. And so these are things that you have to consider, the insurance on it, the taxes that you have to pay. You have to consider all of this, when you're purchasing a house, when you're purchasing a vehicle, just to make sure you can afford it on a monthly basis. And if there's some things that come out every 6 months or annually that you may have to pay for, make sure you consider all of this before you make that final decision. So what I'm saying is, don't base your affordability just specifically on the amount of monthly payment that it's going to cost you to own or have that product that you're going to buy. Make sure you consider everything to see if you can truly afford it. First of all, thank you guys for hanging in with me during this whole video. We have discussed the 5 simple steps that I use for making better money decisions. I've also given you the questions that I ask myself, especially on those large purchases that I'm a little undecided on or not quite sure, or I need the other confidence to say, yes, this is a good decision to make. when it comes to larger purchases or something that I may just want and not really need, or something that I'm vacillating on and not sure if I really want to buy it right now. These are some questions that I ask myself and before I make that purchase. Now, I don't ask myself those questions on every single thing I purchase. If I go to the grocery store and want to buy a steak, I buy a steak. If I go somewhere and see something that if I want to go to the movies, I go to the movies. And so, but these are things that I'm not quite sure, and it may take a little bit more money than I want to spend at the time. And so these are some good questions to ask yourself to make sure you understand what you're getting yourself into and that you're able to afford what you buy at that time. So go back through the video, look at it as much as you need to make better decisions for a better life.